I've done extra preparation and planning for this show. All religions subscribe to in some form or another. Just ask the date on your check. We're not here to argue religion because you can either do the box or go to the hospital, or everyone's favorite box episode, From the Hospital. You can hope he feels better on your own. Yeah, pointless is the word I was looking for. Will I make it in time? Probably not. If I do say a single word, or single multiple words, the multiple words, the only thing I know for sure is that the show did not start on time. My bumpers would win this every single year. My mic is really just being a bit of a dick, although I have asked nobody their opinion on that. How dumb are we going to keep making people? What is special about this show? Nothing. Goodbye. I'll see you all next week.
Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Merry New Year, everybody. We made it. It is 2025. Greetings and salutations to everyone here at the Hard Rock Lunchbox. From everyone here at the Hard Rock Lunchbox to everyone there in the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching the top 20. Merry New Year to you as well. It is a relatively mild January 2nd, 2025 year of our Lord. Yeah, that's right. Christian calendar is never wrong. It is 2025 years since. Is it the birth of Jesus? The death? It's birth of Jesus, right? Which, all religions subscribe to in some form or another. Just ask the date on your check. Well, we're not here to argue religion because we're not. Because honestly, of the few things that I argue, religion is not one of them. I mean, other than sometimes it's just a little silly. But I don't want to offend anybody right off the bat here. I mean, that's what we've got 2 hours to do that, right? I mean, we could do politics, and that's about it. So, yeah, man. So, I'm excited to be here. I honestly had some sort of gastrointestinal attack earlier. Nothing gross. It all stayed inside. But it was wearing me out, and I could barely breathe, which I thought would make for an excellent show, actually. But we decided that, and by we, I mean me and I'm guessing small intestines, we decided to pull it together and figure it out. I've actually never really felt that kind of pain. It might have been my stomach. It was such a sharp pain that it was literally winding me. I don't know if you've ever had that, like on the inside, but man, whew, that was a game changer for me, because I was like, okay, cool. I can either do the box or go to the hospital, or everyone's favorite box episode, From the Hospital, but I opted to just man up, pull through, take some Pepto-Bismol, get in your car, come over there and pick up Ferris Bueller, because that's what me and Cameron have to do. We're going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to get into whatever this show is going to be. It should be super exciting. It all should be a super disaster, because I've done... There it is. I've done extra preparation and planning for this show, all but ensuring a disaster straight into a brick wall. But hey, what better way to start off the year than that? So, light housekeeping, like I said, there is a brand new Top 20 out today. It is Returning Out of the Darkness. I talk about Kaz's Christmas gift for the box, which I forgot to set up. That's how late I'm running today. It is still here. My man Kaz is feeling a little bit under the weather today. According to his text, he's got a little bit of a runny nose, maybe some of the sniffles. So we do hope he feels better. Or I hope he feels better. I don't want to speak for any. You can hope he feels better on your own, but you just let me know and I'll convey that. That's fine. We talked about the difference between astronomical versus astrological. That's when I was talking about Dr. Mehmet Oz and why he's still called a doctor. I have absolutely no goddamn idea, because if you honestly think the fact that I'm an Aquarius makes me more susceptible to one disease over another, like, absolutely have a Scorpio bridge I want to sell you because I can make some money. We talk about the Trump transition, which every time I hear the phrase Trump transition, considering the heated area of politics against trans people right now, I hear Trump transition and I just die a little bit laughing inside. It is just, if you're not on board with that, man, you are missing out on so far the joke of 2025 as far as I'm concerned. I talk about no prep work, which is not applicable to what I'm about to tell you about this show. So, what is special about this show? Nothing. Goodbye. I'll see you all next week. No, that's not true. This is actually historically and statistically the most popular box show of the year. Every single year. All 12 years that we've been doing it. 30, 50. I don't even remember how many it is. I know that we're on episode 500 whatever of the box and over 200 of the top 20, which is just... yeah, pointless is the word I was looking for, but yeah, so, sure. What was I going to say? Does anybody know what I was going to say? Oh, yeah. So it's the most popular show of the year because what we do every now and then, and it's usually the first week of the show, it's always the first week of the year show, we count down the most played, ipso facto, the top songs of the box from the prior year. This year I'm being creative. Instead of doing the top 20, I'm going to do the top 24. Will I make it in time? Probably not, but that's okay. So, but what I did this year, I actually screwed up a little bit. I had my initial list, and then I had to actually recalibrate it because I totally forgot when I'm doing Song of the Year, you have to take into account various versions of songs, right? So I actually had to recalculate some of these things just last night because I remembered it's like, oh, there's a couple of versions of a couple of those songs. It didn't change the makeup of the top 24, but it did change the order a little bit. So that was fun. That was a good piece of prep I did. The other thing I did this year, and I've never done this before, and I can't do this on the Thanksgiving, the Boxgiving Day special. I can't do it there because I picked the song from my band that I want to hear at the time, so I never really know ahead of time. But when it's Song of the Year, I actually know what song it is, so I can figure out, and I could put down, here, I can even show you. See? I can put down the times of each song and how long each song is, and I can calculate it out to see, like, where I need to be in the show. So what I did is I left 20 minutes for my intro, and including in my intro is the amount of minutes I'm usually late to the show. So it could be 15-minute intro. I don't know what time I actually got here. But yeah. So, something. So here's what I did, right? So if I start the countdown at exactly 12:20 Eastern, I will be finished with the show at 1:43 and 45 seconds. That's if I don't say a single word. Now, if I do say a single word, or single multiple words, or multiple single words, or if you're in the multiverse, the multiple words, if I do say any of those, that starts pushing that further and further to the 2 o'clock out time that the box has. Now, this also assumes that I go all the way to 12:20 still talking, which is probably a good bet, because I've got to go over the rules of the song. And the rules of the list, not the rules of the song. I do have to go over that. I will at some point have the honorable mention, because we're doing the top 24. I did grab the top 20, the 25 through 30, just to tell you who those are, because it's surprising, like, how close. Like, these are all separated by, like, one play. It was really, really close when we got to the bottom. So it was that. So I don't know if we're going to finish the show on time. I don't know if we're going to start the countdown on time. The only thing I know for sure is that the show did not start on time. So that's probably a good indicator of where we're heading. Not only for this show and this countdown, but probably the rest of 2025. So thank you. If everybody could just strap in while we get to the rules of this list, then we can do that. So here come the rules for the Song of the Year. So for Song of the Year, what we do, and the reason we do it on the first week of the New Year's, so we can get the full, the last, usually like the Christmas show, we can get all those totals and tabulations in there. But what we do is we go through the archive. The software I use here keeps a track list of every song I play, including all my stupid bumpers, which, to be perfectly honest, my bumpers would win this every single year, especially the intro. But, so what we do is we take all of in this case, we took all of 2024, every song we played in 2024. I tabulate it. I actually have a cheat sheet with how to do it. That's how long I've been doing this stupid thing. I have a cheat sheet, and I just go in order. I correct a couple of the songs. Like, sometimes it'll store, like, Coheed and Cambria as Coheed ampersand Cambria. I have to fix that. The dudes in Off Guard are a particular annoyance to me because they have that O with the thing in it. So I always have to change that to the letter O. That's annoying, but I don't want to hold them up. Like, I really don't need them to go through all their rebranding just to be on the show. But, like, if you want to, that's fine, too. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. And then there's a couple others that have, like, weird characters. So I have to fix all that. Then once I do that, then I just create a list of artist and song. And then what I do is I count. I do in Excel. I do like one of them subtotal by count, and I get all the counts, and then I order it by count. Now here's the tricky part. Now about 4, 5, 6, 10 years ago, we decided that we didn't want to have a band more than once in the top 20 or top 24, as the case may be today. So I would pull out all the other songs and just take their top song. It seems kind of fair. I don't need to flood this countdown with the same artist. I'm pretty artist heavy on a couple of the locals, which is cool. Like, it's cool for us locals to finally get some attention. My mic is really just being a bit of a dick. Let me take care of that. Thank you. So, yeah, we take out all the bottoms. There definitely were some repeat customers in here, for sure. So we dropped them out, and what that did is it gave like another 4 to 5 bands an opportunity to actually show in the countdown, which is exactly what I think is best for the bands, the best for the listeners, and probably the right way to do things. Although I've asked nobody their opinion on that. I just assume that that's going to work out. But, of course, as always, if you have any complaints with the way we do the countdown here on the box, you can reach our complaint department over at monty@cravingstrange.net. All emails will be responded to eventually. Probably not. So, I will say, statistically, one of the more interesting things about this particular countdown is I think this is the first year that every single band in the top 5 is a local band. Like local. Like Long Island local. Not even like local unsigned, not regional. There's plenty of regionals in here, but all 5 local Long Island bands. So I'm expecting that pretty much anybody locally that listens to the Hard Rock Lunchbox, especially anybody listening to it live, has got a really good show in store for them. I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to be really great. So before we start the countdown, I do want to say one thing, and I feel like I said this around Christmas, but if I didn't, I might have just thought it really loudly. That happens too. And I want to say, just absolutely how grateful I am for everybody that continues to listen and enjoys this show. I'm grateful for all the bands that keep making music and submitting it and sending them in and giving me the opportunity to play out really, to discover and play really good new music that just a lot of the world is never going to hear. I saw a short from Bacon Is My Podcast over the week where Jimmy was talking about how great it was, like when he would tour and he would see these absolutely amazing bands. And it happens locally too. You're playing a show, and on stage with you is a band you don't know, but they happen to be absolutely fantastic and amazing. And what's cool about that is not only do I agree with that, but it is the entire premise for this show. As I've said many times over the years, the only reason I'm actually doing this show is that at the time, the owner of the station at New Regal Radio here approached me and asked me to do a show, to which I just laughed out loud because there was no way I had time to do any of that sort of stuff. At the time, I was very vigilant and very active on Facebook, where I would find bands that I would be playing with, and I would post them to my Facebook page, being like, you need to check this band out. So what they eventually did at New Regal was like, why don't you just have a show? It's completely one thing to tell somebody to check out a band. It's completely another to tell somebody to check out a band, play them the song, song and then explain to them why it's such a good song if they don't get it. But normally my audiences, they tend to get why a good song is a good song. We don't always agree, but if we're coming in at 80% or higher in like kind of Venn diagramming, which I guess would be more of that, Venn diagramming songs that we like, then I think that's a pretty good thing. That's a pretty good service. And I have been blessed over the years to have people send in music that I didn't hear otherwise, so I also get to hear new music that way. But my point was that was the entire reason for doing this show. And honestly, today, as I look at the list, it's still the reason I do this show. I've got a bunch of old songs in here. I've got a lot of new songs in here. And I don't necessarily know that I or you or anyone else would have heard all of these songs if it weren't for the box. Now, I'm not breaking my shoulder, patting myself on the back. I'm just pointing out how important this is, not only for me to do this, but for everybody else that does this and everybody else that's a part of this, to give this music opportunities to be heard in the wild. And I think that's great, and I am grateful for you for your part in it. And I thank you so much for listening any week that you can. I certainly don't need everybody to be here every time, but it is really nice to have a bunch of people that pop in from time to time, and that's my bit of a gratitude statement. But I think it's almost 12:20, so it's probably good enough for me to go ahead and start this stupid thing. We're off to the countdown, right? We're doing the top 24 songs of 2024. I know, it's super exciting. And we're starting, unsurprisingly, with another local band, or a local band, because it'll be another after I play the first one, because that's how another works. By the way, I did see a thing on Fox, not to get political for a second, Fox News. They were talking about Christopher Wray, who's still the head of the FBI for right now, and they quoted him as talking about like terrorism and has reached, quote, whole nother level. Whole nother level. Now, I don't want to point out to Fox viewers out there that nother ain't a word, but Jesus Christ, Fox, can you at least get that right? Like, how dumb are we going to keep making people? And I'm going to shut up right there because I feel a tangent coming on. I feel it here, I feel it there, I feel it on the inside, trying to hug the outside of my body, to quote the great Tom Scora. Let's get started with the countdown. It is time for your top 24 songs of 2024, and coming in at number 24, my friends and yours, all new episode with episode 4, Gyros on the Box.